and welcome back to Third Rate Content. Today on this very cold, you can probably tell by my nose, March the 7th, Thursday, March the 7th, 2024, we're going to be taking in a nice walk around a section of Shropshire's meres and mosses in North Shropshire, very close to Ellesmere. We're going to have a really good walk around Colemere Lake and hear a little bit of the history, mystery, folklore and legend of this area, and have a lovely walk, although it's freezing. But luckily you won't be cold, and just let me take one for the Third Rate team as we preamble around Colemere Mere today. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. Yeah, some of the low-lying fenland or mosses here in North Shropshire, a little bit of an example. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that, but I just heard the very faint, distant sound of bells. It could have been coming off one of the boats that are on the grass over there. I don't know. I definitely could hear something, but it does remind me of a piece of the folklore attached to Colemere, and it involves Oliver Cromwell. Yeah, it's believed by locals, and this story was told through the generations by locals, so there must have been perhaps some memory of it. God, my lips are getting a bit cold already. But one of the few Oliver Cromwell stories associated with Shropshire is that Oliver Cromwell is thought to have pulled down the wooden church here at Colemere. Yeah, the Arch Puritan had the wooden church decimated. I don't know what it had done to annoy him, but it had done something. Perhaps it had some popery going on there or something. But he had it pulled down, and he had the church bell cast into Colemere, just dumped into the middle of it. And to this day, it is said that the ghostly bells of the old Colemere church can still be heard at certain times. And maybe we just heard them then. Who knows? Yeah, we've had this walkway put across the marshland that allows us to make our walk around Colemere. Yes, it's really good. Not getting your feet wet when you're just trying to walk around the mere. It's excellent. And your feet will be freezing today. Really old bridge, just hidden away. This looks like a particularly ancient little stone bridge. Pretty tricky to get a view of it, but there you go. Yeah, very soon the spring canopy will be coming in, so it's probably the last month we're going to get this stark winter look, hopefully. So we're just out having our walk here along the the Llangollen Canal, and I'm here with
Chris Palin.
Chris Palin, Joanna Rowlands, and we're just having a nice chat because you have a lot to do with the canals,
Yes,
don't you?
yes, I'm involved with the restoration of the Montgomery Canal, which is going on very well at the moment.
Well, that's fantastic to hear that. And like I say, it's just such a fortuitous thing that I bumped into you today. And I've also got the card here, but it's all about the restoration of the canals here. And what great people to bump into today. And thank you very much.
No, thank you.
For the lovely chat.
Thank you.
And it's that way to Llangollen.
It's that way. No, it's that way to Llangollen.
That way to Llangollen.
We need to sign. I can't. Yes, it's that way to Llangollen.
We're not going to Llangollen today anyway.
No,
We're having a
we're
walk
going
around
to
Colemere.
Ellesmere.
Yeah, and Ellesmere. Lovely. Anyway, guys, lovely chatting to you both.
Nice to talk to you.
And I'll see you soon. Thank you. Yeah. Llangollen Canal is a navigable canal that links Denbighshire to Cheshire. Yeah, so up there is the canal, and you've got a stream here, or low-lying sort of moss area, and you've got the mere just behind it, so 3 levels of water. Yeah, the meres and mosses of Shropshire, Cheshire and West Staffordshire and parts of eastern Wales are the second largest area of lakes and natural waterways in the country. Yeah, with the Lake District being the largest area, the meres and mosses are primarily around the localities of Baschurch, Shrewsbury, Ellesmere and Whitchurch, and like I say, into South Cheshire, riddle this area. There's more meres just around Ellesmere, and then the mosses are just sort of northeast of this area. That is some bivouac. It almost looks like a bear's dwelling. Let's have a little bit of a closer look. Yeah, I'm sure, well, possibly animals claimed this area. Who knows? Or kids. Could be anything. But it does look like a bear lives in it at times. Look at that root system. So Colemere, like Ellesmere, was formed at the end of the last ice age, some 10,000 years ago, and it's classed as a kettle hole mere or body of water because it was formed when a massive chunk of ice was like left here, and it took these huge chunks of ice quite a bit longer to melt, and while they were sitting here they caused like a big depression, a steep sided depression, which eventually filled with rainwater, and sort of water table water, and that is what maintains it. And that is really what the difference is between a mere and a lake. Although, you know, at a glance they look exactly the same. They're just fairly large bodies of inland water. A mere's level is maintained by its own water table. It doesn't have streams or rivers feeding it and maintaining it. It's kind of got underground things and things other than other natural bodies of water, and they're a fair bit rarer than a lake.
Tell me in the comments if these are the sign of a natural well underground. I'm not sure.
It's solid in the ground. In World War II, you might well have heard flying around here German bombers during the times that they were basically flattening or attempting to flatten the industry of Britain. But here in North Shropshire, it's a very rural, agricultural county. There isn't any heavy industry here, so to speak of. But the reason you might have heard, or you probably would have heard, the heavy drone of the Heinekels double engines as they ominously roared overhead and dropped their loads not far from here, some of them. But the bombers in question would have been heading to Liverpool and Manchester, those cities of heavy industry, not really that far from North Shropshire. But the reason the German bombers would have been dropping their loads on North Shropshire was because of Operation Starfish, or originally it was called Operation Special Fire, because after the city of Coventry was decimated and flattened in 1940 by the Luftwaffe, steps were taken by the British High Command and the RAF to lessen the losses of life and industry. So it started in the southwest, I think, near Bristol, Operation Special Fire, but it soon changed its name to Operation Starfish as a sort of, I suppose, code name, and it had the same initials. But apparently it was successful because from command bunkers, beacons were lit, especially in the mosses just north from here, and the beacons were lit fires that would emulate the cities, the burning cities of Liverpool and Manchester, so that any German bomber crews would spot them and think they were over either Liverpool or Manchester and release their bombs. And I'm sure some of them couldn't wait to release their bombs and get home anyway. So yeah, any excuse, or they were genuinely fooled, who knows. But this scheme was successful. But any of the beacons had to be lit a mile or several miles from the nearest home to minimise the loss of life, and especially over the mosses, the bombs would have been smothered probably by the water and the peat that the mosses were made from. So Operation Starfish was a success, and that's something I've just learned about now. that was a stream going into the mere. I was telling you what I read that was the official terminology for meres. So I don't know how that figures into it. If you do know, tell us in the comments. But I'm just telling you the official reasons for these things. You know, meres and lakes, etc. And we've just got Colemere Boathouse, this kind of mock Tudor black and white building. Got a lovely view from that main window there.
Can you hear any bells?
Yeah, I can't hear any bells ringing. Now, is that the sound of what I thought were bells when we first got here? Could be, but I don't think there was a boat club here when the folklore concerning the bell that Oliver Cromwell, or the bells that Oliver Cromwell had thrown in Colemere Lake started. So yeah, that's not explained it, I don't think, the mystery. Behind me here are the vineyards, I believe, of Colemere. Not massively extensive yet, but they're growing, and we'll have more Shropshire wine on top of Roxeter and the one on top of Winnie Hill. I can't actually remember what it's called now. The old vicarage. What an absolutely beautiful building. Stunning, in fact. And there is the church. We're going to have a look at that now. Wine of England. There's more of it here. It might go on over the brow of the hill there as well. So bigger than I first thought. I don't know if the cold weather is good for the vines. It mustn't be that bad, else they wouldn't grow them. But I am freezing today. My nose is red. 7th of March, and I thought, yeah, we're getting somewhere now. The weather's getting better. For some weird reason I thought that. But it is fiercely cold today. Luckily I am dressed appropriately, but I could have done with some gloves on. But yeah, it's freezing. But let's go look at the church. So just behind me is St. John the Evangelist Church, and it was built in 1848. Obviously it was replacing the one that Oliver Cromwell had pulled down 200 years before. Yeah, the church here was designed by G.E. Street, a very well-known church architect and restorer, as he played a vital role in restoring both York Minster and Salisbury cathedrals around the 1840s. You got this like nice little woodland area with a bench and everything just next to the churchyard. Yeah, but interestingly, we have got several yew trees in the churchyard. It does make me wonder. With the church only being built in 1848, like 170 years ago, I don't think that these yew trees have been planted in that time, 150 years. I don't know, I might be wrong, but there's about 5 in here. And I just wonder if this was the site, it probably was, of the original Colemere church destroyed by Oliver Cromwell's men and Oliver Cromwell back in the 1600s. You know, it makes me wonder whether this was a sacred sanctuary long before Oliver Cromwell and long before 1848 when it was rebuilt. Now, I'm speculating a bit there, but I think that's probably the case.
Topiary yew trees line the pathway up to the church. And I think I saw one just round the corner. Yeah, this sort of archway, again, another yew tree. And I think we're just going to go round to the little wood that joins the churchyard.
More yew tree.
And you've got to wonder, was it possibly the grove of yew trees here and the possible activities therein that so offended Oliver Cromwell and caused him to have the church destroyed? Again, we're just speculating.
Yeah, so this little wood next to the church was actually called Yew Tree Wood until the church was built. There was an ancient yew tree, which I did mention before, here on the site, which indicates that this was a sacred sanctuary long before 1848. But the name St. John's Wood, as we're standing in it now, came into fore after the construction of the church, and it was actually done in memory of Lord Brownlow, and it was built by his mother, the Lady Marian Alford. And there wasn't actually a church here at the time. There was the rumours of a church being here, a medieval church, and then it knocked down in the days of Oliver Cromwell, but there's no records of it. But the yew tree is a kind of giveaway that there was something here. Might not be records of it, but records weren't kept as exactingly then. But yeah, it was named, this little wood was named St. John's Wood. Yeah, in 1839, a map does show this wood being known as Yew Tree Wood. But it was much later on in the 20th century when it got the name St. John's Wood. And another thing I just learned, it wasn't the full bell that Cromwell's soldiers threw into the lake. It was the actual peal of the bell, the sort of ringer. So yeah, but they still caused some awful havoc round here, those terrible roundheads. I'm not taking sides.
The Preacher's Cross, looking out over the flat North Shropshire landscape.
These are lightning rods, or they're just there to keep the cross up. I mean, you do not want it falling down. And yeah, one each side, they definitely would hold it up. I'd say that's what they're for under closer inspection. But anyway, that is the end of today's third-rate content. Thanks for joining me on our absolutely freezing cold but very enjoyable walk around Colemere Lake and our look at the canal, church, boathouse, and a nice good chat we had while we were on the walk as well. So anyway, thanks for watching to the end. Hope you enjoyed, and if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. If you like, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. But if not, I'll see you soon. So thanks very much. Third-rate content, sign out. Bye bye.